Are you there? Are you out there? Are you listening? Hi! Hello, you lovely, lovely people listening out there. I am the one and only Teej, and you are listening to Bearcast, coming to you live from the Jack and Jones Show Studio, part of the Electronic Media Division at the CC of M. That's right. And it is midnight after all, which means you get to spend another lovely 2 hours with me as we like to drift on to this chaotic routine of God knows what we're getting into tonight, so I think we should jump on to the agenda. Terry is, of course, with me here in the studio, and I caught him. He was picking his nose. I swear to you, he was picking his nose in the studio. And then I was watching you. You weren't paying attention. Oh, man, I just love getting under his nose right there. It's great. That's still going strong. We spent some more time in the studio today. We're doing PSAs, actually. And, but we're going to share some of those with you over the course of the night. Fortunately, getting into the studio a bit late and that sort of thing, so I'm playing some catch-up, but having fun with it at the same time. So we're going to be entertaining you with some of the work we were doing earlier today. Really some fun stuff coming out of there, so I'm pretty excited to share that with you. So stay tuned for that. But other than that, I think me and Terry, we came up with some pretty good stuff today. I don't get to say that often, so you know what, Terry? As difficult as it is to work with you, I appreciate today being a little less painful. Yeah, that's the best way I could describe it, and that's the only way I'm going to describe it, so chalk that up for whatever it counts for, Terry, because it's not going to happen too often. Oh, boy. It's been a rough one. I don't know about you. I got instructors now talking about midterms and the like, and that sort of bit right there, which is terrifying, right? It just started. How did we get so far in? Time is just an enigma at this point. I don't know what's going on, and then in the mundane routine of the week, as we're trying to slowly get through this thing that we call life, or in students' cases, classes, because really it's starting to draw, and then the weather's not helping out with all that, but I do take that back a little bit because last weekend, I don't know if you recall, but I said I was going to go skiing, and damn it if I didn't get to do that. Yep, it was awesome. So get this, heading up to Perfect North last Friday, perfect choice conditions, absolutely choice. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better night because you had, some fresh snow coming down, you had some active snow coming down. Mountain was, everything was open over there. It was great. We got in at about 8, that sort of bit, and we were just skiing nonstop through the night. And here's the kicker. I don't know if you recall, but it was absolutely freezing last weekend, which seems to contradict exactly how it is today, and it's supposed to get even warmer, on the weekend. I guess, Terry, in an inadvertent way, I did provide our listeners with the weather, and begrudgingly, I'm just going to have to accept that fact. Damn. Well, that being said, though, still, weather was absolutely choice last week, so everything was open there. I was skiing like a mad fool, and I needed that desperately. I'm still looking for just, some R&R this weekend because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work getting through all this stuff, and I'm working 2 jobs now. It gets a bit taxing, that sort of thing, and being a student is no easy feat whatsoever, and so we have to entertain ourselves by any means necessary, and it is a pleasure to be with you once again tonight. So absolutely fantastic, and because it was cold last weekend, it kind of gets rid of all those horrible people that don't really like to ski. They're kind of just there with their family, or you're 5 and you don't know how to ski and you keep falling on the lift, or you're 25 and you don't know how to ski and so you keep falling on the lift. I mean, it's not really based upon age. There's some little kids there and they lived 10 minutes away from Perfect North, which I was immensely jealous about. I mean, that is awesome. But got to chat with them for a while, and they're like, yeah, we're looking for all the best jumps around here. And I'm like, that's awesome, being able to set up jumps at Perfect North whenever you want, that sort of bit. That was cool. But I do love skiing for that, especially, I got lost from my group from time to time, as you do when you ski in that sort of sense. And so, it's not a big panic or nothing like that. It's just, you find them later on and that sort of bit. So that being said, I met a whole bunch of awesome people last week, too, just grabbing a lift with somebody, you gotta chat on the way up. It just seems only right, A lot of people having a fun time. Skiers are a pretty good group, typically, they're just there to have some fun, and that's the cool thing about that kind of activity is everyone there, hopefully, especially if it's that cold, it's all gung-ho for skiing, and so it's sharing a similar quality with everyone around you in that sort of sense. I felt that sort of communal experience when I was at a Modest Mouse concert. It was like, hey, anyone here like Modest Mouse? I'm just kidding. I know it. This is going to be great. That sort of sense. And it's a very, positive feeling. And so that sort of like communal experience was something that I was looking forward to. And glad to see that it played out as well as it did. It was cold as hell, though. I had like 2 different scarves on. I was bundled up. And it gets to be that moment on where your maneuverability kind of starts to slag and that sort of thing. And I had like snow trousers that I was thinking about throwing on. But I mean, again, it's just like you feel... what was that movie where a kid was all bundled up and he couldn't even put down his arms or something like that? I hope that wasn't A Christmas Story, because I really hate that movie. Oh, crap. I think that was A Christmas Story. Terry, do you know what I'm talking... It was A Christmas Story? Damn it. Okay, yeah. Terrible, terrible movie, but we shared that moment right there. I'm sorry. I'm just... I don't know what to say. I'm just out of it. That sort of bit. And... I don't enjoy kind of making these comparisons, so I think that we just need to keep on moving on, and moving on is what we should do. That being said, more going on with this rough week. I realized the other day, yesterday, that I spent over 9 hours in front of a computer screen, for work-related purposes, and I felt disgusting. Yeah, I felt just horrible, just disgusting, just gross, and... just very uncomfortable with that sort of feeling right there. And I think that's why it's like everything's out of whack right now, that sort of sense. People aren't meant to sit in front of computers like that. It's a really horrible experience right there. And I know that people have careers like that. I don't know how they do, because working that 9 to 5 right there and just sitting in front of a computer the whole time, it exhausts you. It exhausts me, at least. And that's the weirdest part, is I'm sitting on my ass all day and then I go home and I'm just like, I can't do anything else. I need to just sit down. That's not a good lifestyle to live. That kind of just puts you in this entrapment, and then all of a sudden you're just sitting on your ass the whole time. And I don't really like that. Terry sits on his ass a lot, I think it goes to show, but of course he doesn't want his picture featured on the Facebook page at all, which you should like. The Teej page, TWJ, and then you can spell the yourself. Right? Go on the Facebook, you can type that in the search bar and like me, and then I can like you, and then it'll be great. We can talk to each other on Facebook, and no one will know. It'll be a secret club. Right? Okay, you go ahead and do that, because it's awesome. Seriously, it really does help me out, so any of you listening out there who haven't done so already would really, really appreciate that. But sitting in front of a computer for 9 hours, it's enough to make me want to scream. One of those, I don't know if I'd go as far to describe it as what Sartre was referring to by living in anguish, but I mean, kind of like that, in the sense of where I was just like, I can't do this, that sort of sense. And so you need to be able to like get some movement in. You gotta take breaks in that sort of sense, or else you actually will drive yourself insane, which is a little bit fun, but can be frowned upon. I think it's 4 out of 5 psychologists do not approve of going insane. 5th one's kind of just he doesn't really have a psychology degree. He's kind of just this person that you pay money to talk to from time to time. And it's not really pay money, but, it's a homeless gentleman that you like to go get lunch with all the time. And frankly, I mean, like, that could be as good of a therapist as anything else if you really think about that. Wow, where's that tangent going? No, so if you stare at data, if you're just sitting at a computer staring at data for 9 hours like I was, it was just, like, messes with your head. You almost want your eyes feel like throwing up. And I don't really know how to describe that phenomenon more than just that. It's just like you need to wash your eyes. And I heard that eye washing is actually a thing that the kids are saying now, that sort of bit, but that means something completely different. And it's not bad, I guess. I don't know, it seems like if the kids are saying something, it usually has a negative connotation to it. But like eye wash is like you see something awful or disturbing, and so you need to like see pictures of cute little bunnies and the like, and all those sorts of weird things that people like to do. I don't get it personally, but that's another thing. No, so if staring at data isn't enough to drive me insane, I think certainly, sitting here in the studio talking to myself for 2 hours is more than enough to get me there, but I've been doing this for a while now, so I don't know where that leaves my sanity. No, Terry was looking at me when I said that. Yeah, you're basically, like, not here at all anyways. Like, you're barely paying attention as is, so, I mean, I can't have a conversation with you if you refuse to be on the air, Terry. Yeah, you didn't think about that one, did you? Alright, well, I think it's time to kick it over to some music. I need to do a little bit of dancing, get some movement going. Hey, it looks like we got some new music! Terry, you shouldn't have. All right. Well, I want to listen to Ted Leo. Here's Me and Mia. Great song.